Five, you're on, Mom. I'm going to have to deal with the rest of it from the other side. Okay. You are live.
I'm live?
You're live.
Okay, but you haven't posted yet.
No, I'm about to try to go post. So just talk to him for a minute.
Well, I don't know
Right
if
back.
that would be anybody that came on YouTube?
Yes.
Well, I haven't seen anybody say hi. How about ready to go live here? All right. Oh no, it's 4:01. We're not posting. I'm on?
You're on, go.
Have you posted it?
No, I'm in the process.
Okay. Well, welcome to Wednesday evening prayer with the Franclara Abbey of Peace and Compassion, a branch of the Teo community of interspiritual Franciscans. It's a community that welcomes all faiths and none. I'm Sister Nancy, and I am so glad you could join us this evening. First of all, I'm going to take a moment to light this candle. And I'm going to light it for our beloved abbot, Brother Sean, our dear assistant abbot, Sister Eleanor, and for all the Teo community, and for all our friends and benefactors, and for all you who have joined us this evening. Now, I'm going to set it back here on its stand. First of all, we're going to begin with the prologue from our brother and sister Essenes of Mount Sinai. And we say together, we enter the eternal and infinite garden of Source with reverence to the Heavenly Mother, Father God, the earthly Mother, and all the great masters. Reverence to the holy, pure, and saving teachings, and reverence to the sisterhood and brotherhood of the elect. Well, I want to share something with you this evening. First of all, if you see me making little faces, that's because it's allergy season here and my nose will start to run, and sometimes I do kind of this to keep it from running, but I will try not to do that too much this evening. And another thing I want to share with you is today is a day of great joy for me because 38 years ago, my higher power granted me the gift of sobriety and freed me from alcohol and has blessed me for 38 years. And I want to give thanksgiving and gratitude to my inner higher power for that awesome, awesome gift. Also tonight, I would like to dedicate evening prayer to Adelaide, who is dear Sister Elaine's mother-in-law. She is critically ill and she is in surgery and she needs our prayers very, very, very much. So we're going to remember her especially tonight in our prayers. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to, like I said last Wednesday, we're going to be sharing readings and prayers from many, many, many different faiths these next few weeks. And tonight I've chosen the Baha'i faith. And I will be doing some readings from the Baha'i faith. Then we will have that short 5-minute time of quiet reflection and be able to go within ourselves in silence. And then we will, I will share some Baha'i prayers and we will have time to share our own prayers. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I read on the Baha'i Faith. It was founded in the early 19th century by Baha'i Ullah. And he came out of, he was in Persian, he came out in the Muslim tradition. Now, the Baha'is believe in the oneness of humanity and also in the divine messengers who founded all the great world's religions. And they believe the crucial need for facing humanity right now is to find a unifying vision of the future of society and of the nature and purpose of life. So I'm going to be sharing some readings now from them. Now, the first reading is from Abdul Baha'i, and he is the son of the founder. And he wrote this in the Promulgation of Universal Peace. Equality of men and women. The status of women in former times was exceedingly deplorable, for it was the belief of the Orient that it was best for woman to be ignorant. It was considered preferable that she should not know reading or writing, in order that she might not be informed of events in the world. Woman was considered to be created for rearing children and attending to the duties of the household. If she pursued educational courses, it was deemed contrary to chastity. Hence, women were made prisoners of the household. The houses did not even have windows opening upon the outside world. Baha'u'llah destroyed these ideas and proclaimed the equality of man and woman. He made women respected by commanding that all women be educated, that there be no difference in the education of the two sexes, and that man and woman share the same rights. In the estimation of God, there is no distinction of sex. One whose thought is pure, whose education is superior, whose scientific attainments are greater, whose deeds of philanthropy excel, be that one man or woman, white or colored, is entitled to full rights and recognition. There is no differentiation whatsoever. Also, in the Promulgation of Universal Peace, he said, when we observe the phenomenon of the universe, we realize that the axis around which life revolves is love, while the axis around which death and destruction revolve is animosity and hatred. The proof is clear that in all degrees and kingdoms, unity and agreement, love and fellowship are the cause of life, whereas dissension, animosity, and separation are ever conducive to death. Therefore, we must strive with life and soul in order that day by day, unity and agreement may be increased among humanity, and that love and affinity may become more resplendently glorious and manifest. Now, this really gives me great pleasure because I did some research and I was looking for something that maybe some Baha'i women wrote or anything about Baha'i women. And I found this awesome woman, Tahiri, and she was the first woman martyr of the Baha'i faith. And I'm going to show you a picture of her, and hopefully you can see it. She was a very, very, very beautiful and empowered woman, and she really, really touches my heart. And I found a good article about her in an article by Jane Toth, and she's a current Baha'i woman who writes in Arizona. And she tells us about Tahiri. She says she lived in Persia at the time women were basically chattel, and nearly all were illiterate. In the midst of that environment, Tahiri, whose name means the pure one, shone like a brilliant candle to light the way out of darkness. Fearless and determined, she traveled extensively to teach the new religion, and wherever she went, she worked to uplift the plight of women. An avid scholar of the Quran, the holy book of the Muslim faith into which she was born, Tahiri argued even the most abstruse points of theology with erudite Islamic scholars and often confounded them. Also a prolific poet, Tahiri's poems are still beloved today in Iran and around the world. And I understand they are being translated today in many different languages, but I was unable to find an English translation of any of her poems. Jane goes on to say, eventually the clergy, incensed by her activities, ordered her execution. Strangled with her own scarf, her body was tossed into a well and covered with stones. Her last words, "You can kill me as soon as you like, but you cannot stop the emancipation of women." On that note, it is now time for us to go into our 5-minute quiet time, where we go within ourselves, sitting quietly together. We go into the silence to be with the One. And there will be gong before we go in, and there will be 3 at the end of the 5 minutes. And we will start right now. Now it is time for prayers. And we'd like to start out with some Baha'i prayers. And these are from, the Baha'is are obligated to pray several times every day. And this first prayer is from the short obligatory prayer, and it's to be recited once every 24 hours at noon. I bear witness, O my God, that thou hast created me to know thee and to worship thee. I testify at this moment to my powerlessness and to thy might, to my poverty and to thy wealth. There is none other God but thee, the help in peril, the self-subsisting. And the second prayer is from their long obligatory prayer, and I've just taken one little part out of it to share with you. O thou, the desire of the world and the beloved of the nations, thou seest me turning toward thee and rid of all attachment to anyone save thee, and clinging to thy cord, through whose movement the whole creation has been stirred up. I am thy servant. Behold me standing ready to do thy will and thy desire, and wishing naught else except thy good pleasure. I implore thee by the ocean of thy mercy and the day star of thy grace, to do with thy servant as thou willest and pleasest. By thy might, which is far above all mention and praise, whatsoever is revealed by thee is the desire of my heart and the beloved of my soul. O God, my God, look not upon my hopes and my doings. Nay, rather look upon thy will, that thou hast encompassed the heavens and the earth. By thy most great name, O thou Lord of all nations, I have desired only what thou didst desire, and love only what thou dost love. And the last one I want to share with you was written, a poem, and it was written by an author and playwright named Terry Owahan. And she wrote this poem saying Voices from the Well, and it's even been published into a book. But I want to recite this as a prayer in honor of Tahiri in the well. Bubbles rose from deep within the water's well. They rise like butterflies up from the source obscured deep in granite, tapping white blind, rooting underground, the sound of beating breath flowing like blood in the veins of the world. The voices surge and swell and arise to tell the stories in the well. So imagine sending a bucket down the well, where Tahiri fills it with the voice of courage, reason, justice, and faith, and draw it up and drink deep of that reviving elixir. Then go forth and make a difference. Now I'm going to start your request for prayer time, but before I do, I want to say hello to Sister Linwood and Eleanor, and thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you so much. The first prayer I want to say is I want to pray for my dear friend Linda, who's going through a very, very difficult time right now with some medical procedures. Hopefully they'll be pretty well over next week. And I just want to remember her and think of her in prayer. So is there any prayers you would like anybody to pray for? Yes, Sister Eleanor, we definitely pray for all the members of the Frank Clara Abbey in the United States, that we may be united, that we may love and support each other during these times. these very, very, very difficult times. Be there for each other. Thank you, Sister Eleanor. Prayers for myself and my family. Appreciate that. And in closing, I'm going to say a few prayers of metta. May all beings be free from suffering. May all beings be safe and secure in their inner and outer being from all harm and danger. May all beings be peaceful and happy. And may all beings dwell in the deep ease of well-being. And I'm going to blow out the candle. And as we leave here today, may you go in peace, and may your evening be peaceful and happy, and may you all dwell in the deep state of well-being. Namaste.